y equals mx plus b is an equation for a line. We've already talked about that. Once you're given m and b, you know what the y-intercept is, and you know what the slope is. And that makes the shape of a line. But what about the shape of a circle? There are some important things that we need to know about a circle, and one thing would be, where is the center of the circle? What point would give us the center? And then also, once we know the center, what is the radius of the circle? Those are two questions that we wonder about. So an equation for a circle, given the circle has a center of hk and a radius of r, then the formula for a circle can be written as follows. X minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared is r squared. Some people might wonder, why are we talking about this right now when we just did the Pythagorean theorem on Friday? Well, this is like a squared plus this is like b squared, and this is like c squared. So the formula for a circle comes directly from the Pythagorean theorem. Okay? So I'll show you what that looks like. We'll come back up above in just a second, but I will write it down again. X minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared is equal to r squared. So I'm going to write the equation for a circle that has the center of -3, 2, and has a radius of 4. So -3 is going to be my h, 2 is going to be my k, and 4 is going to be my r. And I will simply substitute those values into the equation to get x minus a -3 quantity squared plus y minus 2 quantity squared is equal to 4 squared. Now you don't do anything real special with this other than instead of writing x minus a -3, I can write what? X plus 3. And then y minus 2 quantity squared. And 4 squared is 16. This is the equation for a circle that has a center of -3, +2, and a radius of 4. Want everybody to focus and lean in again as I say that to make sure you understand that. This center is -3, +2, and a radius of 4. Do you see how it's opposite what the signs are? And that will be the case. If you had a circle with the center of 0, 0, it would be x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared is equal to r squared. And x minus 0 just becomes x. So x squared, y minus 0 becomes y, so y squared is equal to r squared. X squared plus y squared is r squared. That's what it looks like if the center is 0, 0. So we're going to write a couple more equations here. The center is at 0 for x and -5 for y. So since the center is 0 for x, it's just going to be x squared. Then is it going to be y plus 5 or y minus 5? It is y minus a -5, which becomes plus 5. The radius is a half. 1/2 squared, it's not 1. A half times a half is 1/2 times 1/2, 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 2 is 4. So 1/4. So in other words, the equation is x squared plus y plus 5 squared is equal to 1/4. The next one, the center is at 3 for x, so is it going to be an x minus 3 or an x plus 3? X minus 3. And then since the y value is 0, it's just going to be y squared. And then we have to take 3 roots of 2 times 3 roots of 2. 3 roots of 2 times 3 roots of 2. 3 times 3 is 9. And what's the root of 2 times the root of 2? The root of 4, which is 2. So you get 18 out of that. So a couple skills you need to be able to have. Number one, you need to be able to take the center and the radius and write an equation. The second skill is, given the equation, identify what the center and the radius is. Here, my center is positive 3, negative 2, and the radius is 4. Let's go right down to letter C. What is the center here? Positive 3 or negative 3? Positive 5 or negative 5?
Positive.
Positive 5. And the radius? 7. Good. Square root of 49. Good. For letter B, the center being the x squared, there's nothing that's being added or subtracted, so the center is 0, and the y value is negative 3. For the radius, I have the square root of 48. And you can reduce the square root of 48. It's the square root of 16 times the square root of 3. So 4 roots of 3. Why don't you try letter D on your own? Try letter D on your own. Any question there? So new, but not challenging. I just want to show you something before we go to the backside that people do on the test. People see this, and instead of writing center of negative 3, 5 and a radius of 7, here's what people actually do. They take x plus 3 and they multiply it by x plus 3 to get x squared plus 6x plus 9. And then you take y minus 5 and multiply it by itself. And they get y squared plus 10y, or minus 10y, and then plus 25 equals 49. And then they start subtracting the 9 over, subtract 25 over. Do people, first of all, is that the right thing to do? Absolutely not. Do people understand why they do that? They just kind of get used to like, oh, well, I think that if it says squared, that's what you're supposed to do. The directions are to identify the center, not to multiply it out. You could just look at it and say, oh, 3 or negative 3 positive 5. So please, when we get to that, don't step too far. All right, here we go. Show that the following equations represent circles by placing them in a standard form. Identify the center and the radius. I'll just say it like it is. Usually in class, not everybody gets this. Okay, some people get left behind at this point. Hopefully that's not you. We'll do our best to kind of keep everybody here. This is the equation for a circle, but it is not in this form. Meaning when I look at this, I cannot tell what the center is or what the radius is. This has what we call a completed square, and this has what we call a completed square. So in order to put it in this form, what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather my x's together, and I'm going to gather my y's together. So the x squareds are gathered, and the negative 8x is gathered, the y squared is gathered, negative 12y is gathered. I'm going to add the 7 over to the other side. Now, fortunately, you've had some time in classes here where we've taught you this. What we need to do is we need to complete the square. We need to add a special number there and a special number there in order to complete the square. Talk to the person next to you, see if you can remember what is it that we do in order to complete the square. How do you come up with that number? Make a guess at least. Go, talk. Take 3 seconds.
Divide by, now we can leave two square. Yeah, so 16, 16, no, I think it's divided by 2. So, both sides, right?
I heard a couple people say it.
Times only 3.
To figure out the number that creates a perfect square, here, we take this number of 8, we divide it by 2 to get 4, and then we square it to get 16. 12 divided by 2 is 6, squared is 36. If we added them to the left side, then we should also add them to the right side. That factors to x minus 4 times x minus 4, or x minus 4 quantity squared. This factors to x minus 6 times x minus 6, or x minus 6 quantity squared. 7 and 16 make 23. 23 plus 36 is 59. Now it's in a form that I can understand. The center is none other than 4, 6. The radius is the square root of 59. And 59 cannot be reduced. We try one more example. I'm going to gather my x's. There is only the x squared. I'll gather my y's. It's a y squared and a minus 6y. And I'll put the minus 7 over to the other side to make a positive 7. The x squared is already a completed square. X squared is a perfect square. Y squared minus 6y is not a perfect square yet. What do we need to add to this to make it a perfect square? 9. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Squared is 9. If I add it to the left side, I must add it to the right side. So now we have just x squared. And y squared minus 6y plus 9 factors to y minus 3 times y minus 3, or in other words, y minus 3 quantity squared. And the 7 and the 9 make 16. So therefore, my center is going to be 0, 3, and my radius is going to be 4. Last thing I want to do with you before I set you to your assignment is just show you what would that look like if we were to graph it.
Can you go up?
Yeah.
Should the second one be a y? Like x minus 4 squared plus y minus 6 squared? No, on the first one. On the first problem. X minus 6 squared.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, it is.
yes, yep, I'm sorry. I got you, yep, sorry, that should have been a Y, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, suppose that you were asked to then graph this. It's not that big of a deal to graph a circle. All we want to do is plot the center, which would be up 3 units. And then once you go up 3 units, then since the radius is 4, just go 4 units in each direction. That's what it looks like. Try drawing a circle and then look at your partners and judge them. Tell them whether they were good or bad at drawing their circle. Oh, some of you didn't even draw it. Yeah.
Okay, mine's a little lopsided. Oh,
Look at my circle.
mine's better.
All right, how about this one? What if I do this? Alexia gave me the look. She says that's not legit. What about this?
Your first circle is
Go away. How do we, like, you go away? All right.
Moving the straight arm.
not okay.
Nope. Too tall. Too wide.
Bottom.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
That one was good.
Who could do better?
Chuck just whispered.
Oh, you want to try to beat me?
Nope.
Trevor?
No.
Evan?
I can try.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be good, but. Well, I could just like stand here and like keep my.
Just
arms
draw
straight.
it. However you
I
want.
don't know.
I want to see your circle. We're gonna judge you.
Okay.
I don't know.
Better than yours, guys.
That was better. No, that wasn't
Yeah.
better than mine. Piper, was that better than mine?
That was good.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Nah.
Oh.
I wasn't trying there. All right, that's it.